Hi, this is Christine.
And Jeff.
We are getting ready to take you on an adventure with our 2017 review of what we did on the East Coast, and then traveling to the West Coast and back down to the Albuquerque Balloon Festival.
Well, we did a lot of things this year. It's been an actually crazy year, and we did some unexpected things as well. Things came up we were glad that we had the flexibility to be retired and handle some of those things. My dad passed away in the end of December, so we were already in Florida. So the first part of, in January, I flew back to Oregon to take care of some things there. And then we went down towards the end of January, we went to Lake Okeechobee and spent a month in southern Florida.
Yeah, and we saw alligators and just a bunch of wildlife. We also had the opportunity to visit an old friend of mine, an old coworker who I used to work with. As we left Lake Okeechobee in Florida, we headed north.
We stayed one night in northern Florida, and then one night in Alabama and Mississippi each, and then 2 nights in Louisiana on our way to Texas.
Yeah. Well, what was really funny about Louisiana, though, is we didn't realize it was Mardi Gras, and we barely made it out of there before they started Mardi Gras a few hours after we had left, so the roads were getting very packed.
Oh, I completely forgotten about that.
That was pretty funny.
In Texas, we spent just about a week at Lake Tawakoni, our first stop that was just east of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I spent a lot of time practicing on the drone and getting used to using the DJI Mavic, which most of this video is based on, by the way.
From there, we headed down to the Texan RV Ranch in Mansfield to visit some friends of ours that we've actually spent vacations with when we were still working.
Hi, Mike and Vicki, if you're watching this.
And after that, we headed down to Whitney, Texas. Actually stayed at Lake Whitney Thousand Trails, which was really beautiful. There's a lake there that we actually took the dogs down to, and they had a chance to go swimming, even though it was still chilly. But, dogs, they love getting into the water. And while we were there, we had the opportunity to drive down to Waco, which was probably about 30 minutes away from where we were staying, and had a blast going through Magnolia Markets, which was a lot of fun, and I encourage anybody that has the opportunity to go see it.
We had a lot of fun at both Thousand Trails, both on the east side and west side of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Lake Tawakoni and Lake Whitney. We met some really nice people there, and were able to spend some time just kind of vegging out and enjoying the countryside, taking little road trips, and just getting ready for the next stage, which was heading farther west to the Escapee Rally in Tucson, Arizona. We had really nice weather in March for central Texas. All the trees and a lot of blossoms, a lot of wildflowers were just starting to pop out.
Now we're headed to Abilene, Texas, and we stayed there one night. And we stayed on a ridge overlooking Abilene itself. So that was really nice. And there was a few oil derelicts there as well. So very interesting. Next, we headed to Midland, Texas, and one thing I didn't mention was when we were still in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, our hot water heater broke, and when we stayed in each one of the places, we always asked if there was somebody that could repair it. And when we got to Midland, Texas, it was a one-night stay and a Saturday, but we ended up finding somebody that came out and fixed it for us and did an exceptional job.
After that, we went to Van Horn, Texas, and spent 2 days there. And it's one of those sites that it is really when you're traveling, you pick a spot just out of random and you decide to spend a little extra time there. And you'd think that it's just a little desert town with nothing much going on, but there is so many neat things there. We went to Valentine, Texas, and there was, on the way to Valentine, we saw a world famous Prada art building, and it was kind of neat. Look up, just Google it, Prada and Van Horn, or Prada and Valentine. So had lots of fun going through the western part of Texas on our way to New Mexico and the Escapee Convention.
Yep, and I'll tell you, Texas is huge. It took us, I don't know how many days to get through there, but it seemed to be never ending.
Yep, it is a big state. Reaching New Mexico, we stayed at the KOA Las Cruces that overlooked Las Cruces.
So we went down to Mozilla and ate at a cantina down in the old section of, well, I guess that Mozilla is the old section of Las Cruces. Anyways, it was just wonderful to be down there, and had a lot of fun, and the food was fantastic, of course. It was recommended to us to eat there. And then after that, we just kind of walked around a little bit and checked out the rest of the old town.
It was nice because we got into an area where it was green again. They had vineyards and stuff like that. So it was a nice change from the desert area of western Texas. Next up was the Escapade in Tucson, where we spent a week there. Great RV rally. Our second one, we went to the FMCA rally last year, and then this year we did the Escapade rally. It is a great way to meet people and learn about RVing. Have a great time.
Yeah. And we also met your cousin and her husband and spent a few days with them. We went to an art fair. After the Escapees rally, we head over to Camp Verde RV Resort, which is located near Sedona and Cottonwood, Arizona. The springtime has definitely hit this area, so you can see a lot of cacti blooming and a lot of wildflowers just everywhere throughout the valley.
We took several day trips, including a trip to Sedona and a couple of different times of the day. The Thousand Trails was on a road probably about 3 or 4 miles away from where we were camping, and it had a fantastic overlook of the valley and the mountains. So we took some drone pictures, and definitely an area that we would come back and spend like a month there and explore in more detail.
We started boondocking a little bit and went to Kingman to stay at a rum distillery. After that, we stayed in Yermo, California, and stayed at Peggy Sue's Diner. We ended up going to a place called Horse Creek, which is
near Lemon Cove, California, up towards Visalia.
It was so nice and peaceful that we really enjoyed being there.
Yeah, the wildflowers there at Horse Creek were really, really nice, just all over the place. Lake Minden is a Thousand Trails resort just outside of Nicholas, California, and gave us an opportunity to visit our kids that live just outside, and grandkids that live just outside of Sacramento. Again, we're in the April time frame, so we've got lots of wildflowers, and it was lush and green. Nice change of pace from the desert areas that we had gone through recently. We spent May and June in Eugene, Oregon, fixing up my dad's house to get it ready for the estate sale that we had planned. And in towards the end of June, our kids and grandkids came up from California, and we all trekked north to Puget Sound to have a family vacation all together. This is part of the flexibility of living in an RV. We were able to spend the time in Eugene, both before and after our Washington trip, living in our RV at the American Legion and fixing up my dad's house. It wasn't on our plans originally for the summer, but we were able to get everything done.
We're now at La Conner in Washington State, and we've been to this place quite a few times over the years with the kids, and it's always been a very favorite of ours. to go to. We took the paddleboard out, we took the kayak out, and all of us and the grandkids really had a great time out on the Sound.
It's nice to have both of our daughters and their families all together for a nice camping trip. We are now in the tail end of September, and we are headed to the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta. Our first stop is several places in Nevada, and of which in Winnemucca we had to replace all 4 tires on the Pilot because of a little misadventure. And you can check our blog about towing with a toad, or towing the toad and forgetting to take the car out of park. It was nice to get out of the desert and into Utah. We went to Schofield State Park in Utah, up over a mile high, exploring a lot of the area there in northern Utah.
And that area is actually known for its dinosaur bones, which we have a grandson who absolutely loves dinosaurs. So we made a special trip just to go investigate some of the places. Well, we're headed into Cortez, Colorado, and we did have some adventures with the RV. It hesitated a little bit when Jeff stepped on the gas, and so we ended up taking it to Cortez.
Diesel.
Yeah. And come to find out, our RV, the motor itself, it had not been updated. The computer hadn't been updated in like 19 revisions. So he went ahead and updated the engine.
We had a great time visiting a lot of the Pueblo areas, the Canyons of the Ancients and Mesa Verde in the Cortez area. So it was a nice layover. We just stayed a couple of days and saw it was a non-stop doing touristy things and checking out all the things around.
Can one say, wow? We had such a great time and such a great experience exploring Albuquerque and seeing all the balloons coming up. It was incredible. From 4:30 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, it was just nonstop balloons.
Well, we wrapped up 2017 with a trip with some friends to Loreto, Baja, Mexico. And you may notice that the last half of the 2017, we didn't do a whole lot of traveling other than to the Balloon Fiesta in Albuquerque, and that's because we bought a fixer-upper home, and it ended up being a lot more of a fixer-upper than what we thought. Fortunately, it has a driveway that is long enough for Lola, so we kind of split our time between staying in the RV and staying in the house, and we hope to be done with the house by mid to late spring. And from there, in 2018, we hope to travel Montana,
Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota,
Idaho,
Glacier Park, Yellowstone, hit all the major national parks up there, and just have a really nice, relaxing summer again, us and the 3 dogs.
And add some more states to where we have visited with Lola. See you in 2018, and happy trails.
Yep, happy trails.